Welcome back, Truth Seeker. November 26, 2019. It's reported that early this morning in Albania, in the town of DURRÄS, there was a deadly earthquake. The death toll has been rising. The number will likely climb further. They're saying this hit just before 4 a.m. local time. This is the second most populated city in Albania. Ancient city, goes back to ancient Rome. Once controlled by the Greeks. I want you to see what's so interesting about this earthquake coming on November 26th. Notice the Washington Post was sure to report at the 26th minute of the day. If you're new to my work, we talk about the language of gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, and how it's the language of the cabal, and how terrible tragedies are executed through this code, often using military technology that are then blamed on natural disasters. And if you've read my book, the first chapter is why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet, the God code, and how people are using this code to play God over the world. Notice the town, DURRÄS, where this happened on the 26th of November. DURRÄS is 26, Quake's 26, the military technology that has the capability to create earthquakes, HARP equals 26. The word God in English and in Hebrew sums to 26. And there's a whole lot more to this number, but just understand, this earthquake in this town on this day is no accident. This is the work of military madness. And the people who pull the strings on this are, again, the disaster capitalists. The bankers that worldwide have central banks, and every time a disaster strikes, they're the first to profit. They're there to provide the lending, to make the interest from the governments that receive the lending. This is what goes on worldwide. It's why many spiritualities teach that there should be no concept as interest, because interest leads to evil. Case in point. If you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers: the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with the rules numerology. Notice DURRÄS with the alphabetic order is 80, with the alphabetic order and rules numerology is 26. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Quake is 80 and 26. With the alphabetic order, Quake's 55. With the reverse alphabetic order, DURRÄS is 55. And with the reverse alphabetic order and rules numerology, DURRÄS is also 37. Today's 11/26. 11 plus 26, 37. And of course, earthquakes 55. Talked about this many times before. Look at the overlap with military and earthquake. Only destined, huh? And again, HARP, the military technology that has the power to create earthquakes. It's even been told on public television that this is a fact. Notice, HARP was patented August 11th, 1987. That is the 223rd day of the year. Notice what natural disaster equals, 223. And recall what they did this year in the United States of America on August 11th. They commemorated the 1989 World Series earthquake team, the first earthquake ever captured on live television in the pregame before the World Series started between Oakland and San Francisco. So on August 11th, the 223rd day of the year, they commemorated that team. Don't forget that earthquake happened at 5:04 p.m. local time. Baseball equals 54. Again, earthquake in military sums to 107. So does Jose Capas Canseco Jr., 107. He was the last player shown on TV before the earthquake began. The earthquake began exactly 107 days after his birthday. He wore the number 33. Here we are on November 26th, the 330th day of the year. But anyway, HARP, which was patented on the 223rd day of the year, which has the capability to create natural disasters that are not natural. It stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, which equals 223. And that date that it was patented was a date with a life lesson number of 44. HARP's 44, military's 44, earthquakes 44. With the alphabetic order, the name of that research program sums to 457, and the satanic cipher, earthquakes, also 457. So since HAARP, no doubt they've developed more sophisticated technology. You know, HAARP's over 30 years old. And then the other thing is, in the news in the U.S. today is another bomb cyclone by the numbers. Again, today, November 26, 2019, the date was 76 numerology. The last time we had a headline about a bomb cyclone in the U.S. was on October 16th, the day leaving 76 days left in the year. With regards to bomb cyclone, an earthquake on this day in Albania, remember, the United States of America and Russia, for the better part of a century, detonated bombs way up in the atmosphere and beneath ground thousands of times between the two nations, testing their impact on weather, if they had the ability to trigger fault lines, etc. You know, the Manhattan Project is almost a century old. Underground and high atmosphere detonation of bomb testing, that began almost a century ago as well. We're deep in the game. All of this stuff was done for this purpose, because there is a very psychotic group of people who rule this world, and this is how they do it. With fear, intimidation, destruction, death. This is it. This is it. And with this knowledge, and again, for people who are saying, well, why in English? Again, why does English even exist? You know? Don't forget, English was standardized as a 26-letter alphabet. By the way, the word letter equals 26. Very special number. But the English alphabet was standardized as a 26-letter alphabet. At the same time, the agreed spellings that the world now shares for English were set on. And at the same time, the Gregorian calendar was rolled out. This nonsensical calendar system that we're now on. And no doubt, all of this was done on purpose by the cabal to set up the way they would operate the world for centuries as they now have. And of course, they haven't had tools like HAARP and, you know, atomic and nuclear weapons and whatever else they have, you know, 300 years ago. But all this time, they've operated by this code. They've created wars by this code. They've created needless destruction by this code. And for as long as these people control the world, this is how things will be done. It's why this knowledge must be spread. It's why there must be an uprising. It's why the world governments must be shut down. It's why every central bank must be torn down. Because until it is, this will continue. So, by the way, they first came out and said 14 dead, and they do that all the time if you pay attention. At least 14 dead. Just pay attention how often there's a natural disaster, and they first come out and say at least 14 dead. Again, it's all gematria. Dead equals 14. And with regards to this happening just before 4 a.m., remember, 4 is the number associated with death, coming from the Far East. Mandarin Chinese and in Japanese, the same pronunciation for the number 4 as the word death. And military and earthquake, and what's considered the most pure cipher, both 44. The rep digit of 4. Kill equals 44. We'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Till next time.